go have some fun.
Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to a new episode of Co-op. I'm your host, Cole Hamilton, along with my other host,
me, Jacob Silva.
And this week on Co-op, we're going to get pretty deep on you guys. So, anybody that is a sad boy, tune out right now.
Is that whole thing a question?
Oh yeah, there's like 3 things.
Wow, okay.
These are all anonymous, so we can't say the names.
Gotcha. That's fair.
Yeah, we gotta protect everybody's identity.
Yeah, that's good.
So, on this week of Co-op, we're going to talk about something that me and Silva both struggle with and, struggle with often, and it's depression, anxiety,
things like that, mental illnesses.
Exactly. So we're going to talk about mental illnesses on this podcast, how we've overcame them, what we do to help us not be so upset and depressed all the time. And we have Scout as a special guest tonight. She's literally just laying on the floor.
Hey, Scout.
Just doing her own thing. But
can our thumbnail just be a picture of Scout?
Yeah, it just like random like subliminal messages like flashing. Only the true fans will see them. So, Silva, how was your day?
I woke up and I went to the gym.
Okay.
Felt good. And then the time to go to school came around. I was like, you know what?
You didn't even go to school.
I'm not going to school.
You son of a bitch.
I woke up
today, and I've been opening at work like the past 4 days.
Uh-huh.
My body is just ready to sleep. Then I have class tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Ooh.
And I don't want to go.
It's a long drive.
Not one bit. I drive like 45 minutes to school every day.
Ooh, fun fact, the last 2 nights in a row I've slept for at least 11 hours straight.
God damn it, how?
Straight. I don't know.
Do you not have anything to do during the day?
No, like I'll go to bed at 9
Uh-huh.
and I'll wake up at like 8 or 9
What
the next day.
Fuck? That's insane, dude.
It's a long ass time.
That is a very long time.
I don't wake up, I just sleep that long.
I went through a whole Nintendo Switch debacle today.
Yeah, Cole almost bought a Nintendo Switch.
I spent 45 minutes looking around for them at my job because it said we had 2 of them. And then I finally gave up and went back to where I live. And I was ordering Subway. And then I get a call from my manager, one of my managers. And she was like, hey, we found them. And I was like, you gotta be shitting me. And then I just didn't get it.
You'll get one eventually.
I just went home.
Your shining moment.
Yeah.
Play Mario Kart.
There was something.
Mm-hmm.
There was some force telling me not to buy
Yeah.
one. It was a sign. Anyways, time for the sad stuff.
Ooh,
We're going to get into the sad stuff.
We're not going to cry though.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
We have 2 people who anonymously submitted some stuff that they feel about mental illnesses and depression and stuff like that. The first one is very long, which is kind of sad. So I'm going to read this one off first.
Sure.
So we got a pretty lighthearted one from another anonymous viewer. So the first one starts off, well, we need more awareness about mental illness. Almost everyone these days struggles with some form of chemical balance, and the more we talk about it and make people aware, the less ashamed people will feel. Therefore, the less suicides, etc., will happen altogether, I think. True.
Very
People
true.
talk about it more,
Mm-hmm.
get their thoughts out, get their feelings out. Like, the more research I do on my own personal mental illness, I think the better I feel. I stop feeling so crazy. When I look up the numbers and see how many people feel the same exact way that I do, it helps me with recovery too. People need to stop being so afraid to seek out help, which I also agree. Where did I leave off? I can't find where I left off. Anyways, with all of this being said, it's also highly disappointing that there is still so much. Even top educated people have yet to come to conclusions about bipolar, for instance. A lot of people don't know exactly what the fuck happens with some of the chemicals, and it's like humbling to realize that too. In 2017, there is still so much we as a species I have barely even scratched the surface on. This is all research done by one person, by the way. I also think drug addiction should be treated as a mental illness because, let's be real, happy people just don't shoot up heroin for fun. They don't. Obviously, there's some void they're trying to fill. I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. So I've learned that abusive relationships are more common than people think. We need more awareness about that because people need to learn to stop being assholes. If we can address why we get into abusive relationships, usually your relationships will mock the other ones you have with one or both of your parents. Then people also step back and think, I didn't deserve my dad hitting me and neglecting me as a child, so maybe I don't think I deserve this from some boy, which is fucking true. I think people should also try to learn to take their own advice, listen to the advice that they give to their friends, and apply it to themselves. Accurate shit You wouldn't want your best friend to deal with that shit from someone so widely yourself. Oh, okay, here we go. With depression overall, I really like this one saying that goes, there's a wounded child inside of you who needs to be cared for. Parent them. I wish self-love was taken more seriously. Yeah, like all of that is...
That was really good.
Exactly. This is a text from one of our viewers.
Yeah, whoever sent that, thank you. That was really good.
I want to go back to where they said...
Yeah, we can dissect this thing.
Mm-hmm. I want to go back to the part where they said... So I've learned that abusive relationships are more common than people think. I was in an abusive relationship for over almost 2 years, and it mentally and physically destroyed
I didn't
me.
realize it was that long.
Yeah. No one really knew. I didn't really talk about it. We just seemed all happy and hunky-dory, and then I stress ate a lot. I gained a bunch of weight during that time. I was stressed at work. I was stressed in school. The whole skinny of everything was I basically just said, like, fuck it, I'm not doing this anymore after talking to one of my friends, which goes back to where the viewer said it's best to communicate these feelings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In the relationship that I was in, I was basically blocked out from all my friends, my family. I would basically go to work, or go to school, go to work, go to my ex-girlfriend's house, come home at midnight, wake up and repeat. I wouldn't see my family, I wouldn't see my friends, I didn't have time to do anything that I liked, and that also led me to start smoking and to relieve stress, and all that did was make me addicted to cigarettes, which thankfully I stopped, and now I represent the Vape Nation. That was probably the most embarrassing thing I've ever said in my entire fucking life. Vape Nation, y'all. But I feel like talking to somebody about the relationship that I was in, like, really helped me. Like, I remember my friend was like, this is a quote from my friend that said, Cole, you are balls deep in a meat grinder. You need to get out. Yeah. I was forced into an engagement.
You were engaged. How old were you, like 17?
Yeah, I was 17. No, I was 18.
18.
I was 18. I was engaged at 18 years old. I'm 19, turning 20 this year now, at the time of this recording. And it was a whole bunch of fucked up stuff. I didn't tell anybody in my family. And then I finally was just like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I straight up texted my ex one day. I was like, hey, this is not working. Give me 2 days by myself. Let me think about it. I already knew what I was going to do. Yeah. Those 2 days were probably the best 2 days of my life. I went out and I bought video games. I hung out with my family. It was awesome. I hung out with my friends. And then finally it rolled around where she was like, 2 days is up, motherfucker. And I was like, sick. I'm coming to get my shit tomorrow. I'll see you later. And then after that, I never spoke to her ever again. And it's kind of shitty for me to do it like that, but...
You had to do it.
I had to do it, man. You have to do shit like that sometimes. Yeah, it sucked. And it mentally, like, I'm post-traumatic from it in some cases. Like, I'll see things online or I'll read stuff that, like, it...
Reminds you of how you felt?
Yeah, it triggers me, essentially. Yeah. Like, it's just weird. Like, I hate it. But now, I'm in one of, like, the best relationships that I've ever been in with my girlfriend now, and I'm the happiest that I've ever been in a while.
Yeah, I can tell.
The past few months have been shitty just because of, like, school and personal stuff that I won't super get into. But I find ways to cope with it, and I try to just make life easier for me by, you know, trying to get better grades and shit like that. But yeah, man, it feels good to talk about this again. It feels good to talk about it now. Like, I can look back and I can laugh at it. Like, no, like, yeah, it was funny. I broke with my ex-girlfriend, but it's funny I can look back and be like, wow, I was a fucking idiot. I'm never gonna do that again. And it's good to have communication in relationships too, because I was a doormat essentially. I just let her walk all over me, and now, like, I laid down ground rules in the current relationship I'm in. I'm like, look, I need to spend time with my friends. I need to have personal time. I love you, but, like, I'm not getting engaged after dating for, like, less than a year.
No.
So yeah, that was that's not the root of my depression and anxiety, but that accelerated it for damn sure. Do you have anything you want to add to that, Silva?
To that, I'd like to talk about the beginning where she talked about how how it's really common to have a mental illness. Growing up, I just was always, like, ashamed because I didn't think it was a common thing. I thought I was just weak for being depressed or having anxiety, and I was afraid to tell anyone about it.
Yeah, it's scary.
Until, like, I was made to talk about it.
You're not, like... It sucks because, like, you want to tell people, but you don't think that they would understand.
No.
And I think the generation that we grew up in, like, you know, we communicate with people online,
Mm-hmm.
and they communicate things to other people online, and like, hey, this is what I'm going through. What are you going through? Like, how does this make you feel? And can you relate to this?
Yeah.
And I feel like I relate to a lot of stuff that I read online growing up. I feel like the internet, this sounds like fucking weird, but I feel like the internet kind of made me, like, not who I am,
Yeah.
but it morphed me into who I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I met a bunch of cool people on there. It's just, I met my girlfriend on Twitter. She followed me on Twitter.
I met Sabrina on Tumblr, basically.
Yeah.
Vintage stuff.
Dude, Tumblr was, shout out to Tumblr.
Yeah.
That was sick. That was a good ass time. But, anyways, did you have anything else to add? Sorry, I didn't mean to kind of interrupt.
I don't think so. Well, there was a point where, like, if people, I'm sure other people can relate to this, trying to hide your mental illness.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a combination of, like, I have a really bad anxiety issue and depression. I'm 90% sure I have an eating disorder. It was a lot worse several years ago. I would throw up, like, every day.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember
like
that
for
too.
no reason. Well, because of anxiety most of
Yeah.
the time. I think I ended up being anorexic.
At one point.
I wasn't like dangerously skinny, but I was malnourished.
Yeah.
And
You
it
were. It was crazy, man.
It got to the point where I was taken to the emergency room, and they said my esophagus was like inflamed.
Yeah.
And they did an upper endoscopy, which is where they put you to sleep and stick a camera down your throat.
Sorry, I'm trying to put Scout in the living room. Continue, Silva.
Yeah, all of that happened because I was too afraid to tell anyone that I was throwing up because I had an eating disorder. So I went to all that trouble and spent all that money on medical care because I was too afraid.
It's crazy, man. I'm happy you're better now. You look
I don't
great.
throw up every day.
Yeah, that's good.
I've only thrown up like once in the last year, and that was on our road trip.
Yeah, I would eat so much that I'd throw up.
Yeah.
Like, that was my problem.
I still have an issue with sometimes I just won't have an appetite for like weeks, it feels like.
Yeah.
It's really easy for me to starve myself, and I have to like make an
yourself
effort not
eat.
to do that.
Definitely.
So,
Like, I'm happy for you that you've gone through that. Like, not like happy, like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad you went through that, you piece of shit, but I'm like happy that you experienced that and you learned from it, which is what I think a lot of people
mhm.
do in their lives. They go through the shitty shit and then they recover from it,
Yeah.
and they like look back and like, wow, that was really dumb of me. Why am I
Mhm.
doing this? But yeah, I think drug addiction should be also classified as a mental
For
illness because a lot of people will, smoke weed. I don't want to make this sound like weed is a gateway drug because it's
Yeah.
not. I know people in my personal life who have, gone through, drinking and smoking,
Yep.
and that led to, doing other things that they haven't fully recovered from. People keeping secrets about it too. But yeah, and then also after my grandfather died, it was when I was still with my crazy ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
I've never dealt with a loss that like heavy in my life
Mhm.
before, and I didn't get to spend time with him because I was spending time with her instead
Yeah.
when he was sick, and so like I regret that like almost every fucking day.
Mhm.
Like it sucks, but like I look back on it now, I'm like, I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. He knows that I loved him, and I know he loved me. So I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, I wish I could spend more time with him. If I could go back, I would do it all over again. But I'm glad I learned from that, and I'm never gonna let anything like that ever happen
Yeah.
again. So let's go to the spicy one. This one's from another anonymous. Am I saying that right?
Anonymous.
Anonymous viewer. How many depressing yet spicy memes should you watch a person post on Facebook before you get genuinely concerned? So, I see this quite often on Facebook.
Me
Like,
too.
a bunch of people post, like, depressing memes, and I read them, and I'm just like, are you okay?
You trying to like cry out?
Are you, yeah,
Through memes?
do you need help? Like, there's a better coping mechanism
Not
than
post
memes.
memes on Facebook.
I mean,
man.
everyone has their coping mechanisms, but I don't think really memes is the appropriate way to do it. I mean,
Mhm.
you can talk to somebody, but yeah, I do see that a lot, which is surprising. Like, I see some like fucked up memes and I read it, and I'm just like, I can't believe this is a thing, and that this has like a ton of reposts on it. But yeah, it's fucked up, man. Fucked up if true. I think we should talk about the root of our depression and anxiety.
That's fair.
And how it started off at such a young age. So, this is gonna sound stupid as shit, but when I was, I think in junior high, I was like in 7th or 8th grade, I remember that I planned to go hang out with a bunch of friends at like a skating rink or something. It was
Yeah.
when the Moore Bowling Alley was open before the tornado came through. And, so no one texted me.
Yeah.
No one was like, hey, you know, we're hanging out tonight, even though we kind of planned to. No one let me know, and I basically like saw pictures on Facebook of them like hanging out, and I was like, wow, this is depressing. And one thing that helped me cope that night in general was like I wasn't like I'm gonna kill myself, but I was like thinking like, do they care about me? Like, do my friends actually care about me?
Yeah.
Like the people that I held so close, you know, as much as an 8th grader can think that.
Yeah.
And the band Set Your Goals actually kind of saved my life more than once. They just it's just powerful to me, you know what I mean? Like it's strong words that I needed to hear at that time, and then when I'm still like in a funk and like I'm not doing good, I just listen to them, and like it just kind of it makes me sad. Like I cry sometimes listening to Set Your Goals.
It's inspiring though.
Exactly. Like, and then it just brought me back up. It brings me back up. It lets me know like, hey, this is where you were before, but this is where you are now. Think of all the things that you have. And I was talking to some friends about this type of thing before, like a long time ago, and they were like God and like religion like helped them find coping mechanisms like forgiveness and things like that.
Yeah.
But that never really occurred to me that something like that could help people, which is awesome. I mean, I'm not like against people who practice religion unless it's for like a fucked up reason, you know, like, but and I was talking to him, I was like, I mean, music did the same thing for me as religion did for you. So that's, I think that's really cool that that kind of happened. Do you want to talk about the root of it? We're trying not to make this a sad episode. Like we don't want our viewers to cry, but this is a deep subject, so we're gonna have to jump down that rabbit hole a little bit. So
there's probably like 2 different levels of depression that I've dealt with. It was like through my youth, I was bullied a lot just because I was really short and had glasses. I was fat.
Same.
Yeah. And I didn't really have that many friends. Dude, me too. Oh god.
It was bad. I'm glad puberty hit us. We're pretty handsome now, I would say. So pretty good looking.
That was like elementary school was alright, but junior high and high school I got bullied a lot.
Yeah.
And that was shitty. I didn't realize that I was depressed until like after I got out of high school and I started changing myself.
Fucking kids are mean, dude.
Kids are so mean in public school.
I was bullied the shit out of in elementary school. I didn't have any friends
like 5th and 6th grade. Lockers and shit like that all the time.
Yeah, dude, it sucked.
But that was right after high school. I realized how depressed I was because of that. But it wasn't like never had suicidal thoughts or anything like that. Yeah. It wasn't that kind of depression. It was just like, okay, I'm really sad. I need to change myself for the better. So I did. And then 2 years ago, in my family we have a pretty big family, but they were always for first 15, 16 years of my life, there were only 2 boys in the family. It was me and my cousin Ryan, who was much older than me, but we were always compared together because we acted a lot alike. Yeah. And we were kind of had the same mannerisms, things like that. And then one day, I heard my mom start crying in the kitchen, and walked out to see what was wrong, and he shot himself.
Yeah, I remember this happening.
And like, it took me so long to cope with that. Like the first 2 days, I didn't cry at all, and I just had like a breakdown the 3rd day. And after that, you start thinking about depression differently. Yeah. Whenever you see that someone took their own life because they didn't want to be depressed anymore. Like that.
That sense,
it's a different thought. And after that, I haven't been that depressed the whole time, but there's been moments where you think about stuff like that. Yeah. Like, not like you're gonna do it,
but you're just like, what would happen if I did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks.
And you're like,
it's really scary.
It is scary.
You get like intrusive thoughts.
You don't like it.
No.
It's like, it's awful. I mean, I've had like I've had like those types of thoughts like after my grandfather died, because it stuck with me for like months and months after. And like I went to therapy for a while, and I told my ex-girlfriend it was because my grandfather died. I needed to talk to somebody about it and like what was going on. And when I went to my, it was counseling, not therapy. I would talk to her and it'd be like, yeah, I feel fine. Like I'm just kind of sad sometimes. And then like after the fact, like after I broke up and everything, I was like, wow, she was the whole reason behind all of this. Like she made me feel like this, and it was shitty, man. It was awful. And I've seen some shit that like it also triggers me, and it's like I think back on it sometimes. I'm like, man, I wish I never saw that. But it's kind of shitty too, because I feel like we still act like kids sometimes. We act like, you know, we're like still like 12 or 16. We act goofy, but I feel like the stuff that we've been through, it matured us like way too fast.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm a grown man because I've been through so much shit in my life already, and it sucks, man. I feel like a lot of my innocence was robbed from me because of those types of things, and that's what depression and anxiety will do.
People relatively close to me. I think I've had 3, almost 4, that killed themselves.
Yeah.
Like, just not even, my cousin was the closest, obviously, but a coworker and then a friend of another friend. Like, it stuff sticks with you.
Yeah, it doesn't leave you either.
No.
It makes you think about all of it too, like what we could have, not like blaming yourself, but like what could we have done?
What could you have done differently?
Exactly. Like what could we do to help them?
Yeah.
Like our cousin on my mom's side, I woke up one day and I came home from, it was a normal day. I came home from school and I was in the kitchen making food and we had our phone in there and we were getting a phone call and we never answered it, and I was like, oh, it's my cousin calling, and I never see that side of the family but once a year.
Yeah.
And it was one of my cousins on the phone, like crying, like, hey, Cynthia, talking about my mom, like, hey, something happened, Mario, like my cousin passed away. And it didn't register with me at first. I was like, what's going on? Like, why Mario's, like, what happened exactly? And I called my mom and I told her about it. She's like, yeah, I just got a text. I'm coming home now. And so he overdosed on heroin, and that was scary because nobody knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
No one knew what he was going through in that time. And it was super fucking, like, it was shocking. Like, I didn't cry at first because, I mean, I was almost in shock still because, you know, he's there one day, he's there every Christmas Eve, and then he's just not. And like at the I hate going to viewings, man. Like I
didn't go to my cousin's viewing.
Yeah, it's nice to see family members and stuff, but it's like, it's rough.
I don't want to see that person in that state. I don't want that to be how I remember them.
It's rough, but like I just remember like going up and looking at him and like just sobbing. Like I was pretty numb to it for a while.
Yeah.
Until that, I just couldn't stop. Like, I don't know what came over me. Like, I wasn't very close with him.
Yeah.
But he was, like, still part of my family, you know? He was, you know, part of my life. But it was crazy, man. Like, stuff like that just kind of, it just blows my mind how you can be so numb to it for a while, and then you, like, see it, and then you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, this actually
doesn't
happened.
feel like reality.
Exactly.
Really.
You don't feel like it really happened. But, so yeah, I mean, depression kind of comes and goes with me. It's not, like, constant. I mean, there's good days. There's always going to be bad days.
Yeah.
But, wow, we got really sad all of a sudden.
How do you deal with yours? We'll go on to a slightly better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I smoke, which it doesn't like, oh, I'm fucking sad, and then I smoke. I'm like, wow, I'm so happy. You know what I mean? But it calms me down. It helps my anxiety more than anything. I'm not like technically like diagnosed like by a doctor, and I don't have medication, which I feel like I should be at some points, but it's expensive, you know, and insurance is also expensive.
Yeah, if you don't have good insurance, you're fucked.
Yeah, so I'm kind of just like, well, to find home remedies for this. So one thing I do is I listen to music. That's all I really do. I try to find like different bands that will help me cope. I play video games to like get away from stuff. I hang out with friends. Like when I just, you know, when we used to go, because I was depressed the summer that we used to go to the training center a lot. I was just kind of lonely, and it was a rough patch for like, you know, me and my family. We weren't getting along so well. It was a rough time. It was after the tornado.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Forget about that.
That sucked, man.
Yeah.
That was a bad time for me and my mom and my brother. But now looking back just on that too, we're closer than we've ever been in our entire lives, and it's awesome because I mean I go over there and we hang out, we watch TV, we eat, you know, we laugh, we make jokes, and it doesn't feel forced. Yeah, it feels natural. But what was I saying before that? I was depressed over
how you deal with
how would I deal with it. Hang out with friends, that really helps. I mean, talking about it too will help a lot too. It just like I said, it comes and goes. Yeah. And depending on the severity of it, I mean, seasonal depression has always kind of been a thing for me. But I don't know. I try not to stay still for a while. I try to go do something. Yeah. Like if I'm just sitting around and I'm like, wow, I have nothing to do today, and if I just constantly sit here, I'm just gonna feel even more sad. Yeah. So I'll try to go out somewhere. Like I'll even go look at like a bookstore
Mm-hmm.
and just go shop and not buy anything.
Yeah.
And or if anything, I find a fucking book and I buy it and then I read it. And it's, I mean, I haven't done that in a while because
Yeah.
I don't know how to read. I'm still learning. But yeah, I mean, it's a simple way to cope, but it's just relaxing to know that like I can go somewhere and like be fine. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So I literally just used to drive around when I felt like that. I would just drive like in the city. I would drive around Norman. I would just drive. I'd just drive around, listen to music. So that's kind of how I cope with everything. So what about you?
I go through some like unhealthy extremes. Like I'll sleep or just I'll stay in bed for like like days. There's been times where I've not gone to school and I'll call into work and sorry to my coworkers. I'll
guys.
say I'm sick, but really I'm just extremely depressed and I don't want to have to explain that to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you shouldn't have to explain yourself. I mean, you're sick.
Yeah.
I mean, mentally.
Yeah.
You sick fuck.
So I'll do that, or I'll play video games for like an absurd amount of time, or I'm not like in shape or anything. To those of you that are listening, that you see me in real
Silva
life.
is so buff.
I've gone to the gym for like 2 years straight. I think 2 or 3 years straight, and that helps a lot. But sometimes I'll like overdo it,
and then just feel like shit. Yeah.
I just feel like shit. I'll hurt myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean,
Or listen to music.
yeah. Just even like thinking of ideas for stuff like this, like making plans for the future also makes me feel like fucking great. Like
Yeah, that's
before,
true.
like the night we were planning to like start the podcast,
Yeah.
I remember we were on Xbox and I'm probably not playing video games, and then we were just bouncing ideas back and forth to each other, like what can we do for this podcast, and we'd be like, okay, this is a good topic, and then we'd kind of go down the list of things, like write stuff down, like, oh wait, we can go back to this topic and we can add stuff to it, and that was really fun. Just trying to keep your mind occupied, like even playing video games with you and Christian.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I had a really bad day. I just want to go home and play Overwatch for like 3 fucking hours and then lose, but still have a good time because I'm playing with my friends. I think communication and talking to people is key because
It's really hard for me to do.
it is. Yeah, it's hard for a lot of people, but like if it wasn't for the one person who talked to me about my past relationship, I don't know where I would be now. I don't know if I would have the balls to do it.
Yeah.
And I finally gained the confidence. I was like, see ya. And this isn't before the dab, but then I dabbed on her as I got in the car. But yeah, man, it feels good to talk about this. I don't want you to go home and start crying on me.
I'm gonna like play Xbox or something.
I don't want you guys.
Zelda?
I don't want you guys at home to start crying on us either. I mean, I feel like we've done good today.
Yeah.
I feel like we've grown.
I got recommended to see a therapist over a year ago, and today I scheduled an appointment.
Nice, there you go, dude.
been a
Hell
year,
yeah,
but
that's awesome.
Fucking did it.
There you go. I remember when I was in counseling too. Like this, like kind of tore me down. We're going back to the sad part for a second.
Don't worry, we'll be back.
We'll be back with the happy. I was in counseling and I was like, I feel like I need medication to help me because talking, like I was straight up with her. I was like, this every week, $200 isn't working.
That's how much you paid every week?
Yeah.
Did you have insurance?
Yeah, that was with
Shit.
insurance. It was so much money. And then I was just like, I need to be medicated, I feel like. And then she's like, okay, here's a list of doctors that are covered by your insurance that you can see, and then they'll prescribe you medicine. Every doctor that I called, it was like a 6-month waiting period for me to be seen.
Jesus.
And I was just like, okay, well, I'm not going to counseling anymore.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out. So, anyways, back to the happy.
Hello, we're back.
Hello, we're back. Wow. Where were we just now?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Do you guys have any ideas for what we could do for the podcast? I mean, like, just simple, like, effects. Because, like, I feel like the spooky episode we did with my brother, that was a lot of fun.
It was.
Because, like, I was talking to Cam about it earlier. He was like, yeah, I was, like, laying in bed, like, kind of drifting off to sleep a little bit. And then I was kind of starting to get creeped out.
I was getting creeped out. I was doing
Yeah,
my
dude,
bed
it was
too.
creepy. And then, like, there was a part, I didn't edit this, by the way.
Music does so much.
If anyone knows what I'm talking about, there was a part where, like, I said something creepy, and then, like, the music just goes boom. I did not edit that. It was just timed perfectly. And Cam was like, yeah, dude, it scared the shit out of me. So, but yeah. Do you want to add anything? I mean, I don't want to be like, those who are suffering with depression, it'll get better. Because, I mean, it kind of will, but you got to make it.
You can't just cure depression.
Yeah.
You have to learn to cope with it.
Exactly. There you go. That's a good way to put it. The singer for The Wonder Years explained it as, there's always going to be, like, it was something along the lines of this. It's like, there's always a cloud over your head no matter what. You just have to find a way to keep it at bay.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, dude. I feel that. I relate. I can relate to that. But yeah.
How long have we been going? Can you see the time?
About 29 minutes. About 30 minutes, It's about time to
the
wrap it
average
up.
time.
It's about time to wrap it up, guys. Well,
What do you guys want us to do next week?
yeah, just let us know. Let us know in the comments below.
Comments.
Well, we can do a giveaway. Let's do a giveaway.
We'll give away some of your. Do you have any of those rubber bands from your braces?
Oh yeah, dude. Okay, whoever comments on this video will be selected into a random drawing that we will film, possibly if we can figure out how to film the podcast, on next week's episode, and you will win a package of my rubber bands from when I had braces that have been sitting in my wallet for a good, probably about 8 months. We'll throw some other goodies in there too. But yeah.
Oh, one thing, Jacob, if you're listening, look on your floor in certain places and you'll find some of those rubber bands.
You will.
Seen them on your floor.
Unfortunate. Well, we cleaned a lot of them up when I
did.
spilled the sixlets. Oh my god! You know what I realized?
What?
We forgot Levi's question last week.
Oh shit!
Hey Levi.
Wait, are we gonna leave it as a running joke that we're just never gonna answer his question, or we're gonna actually answer the question?
Dude, I have an idea. I'm gonna start reading it off, and then and then we're gonna start answering it, and then it's just gonna cut off. All right, ready?
Oh yeah.
All right. I feel this is a text from Levi. I feel my question is going to be a running gag at this point. LOL. Who would win between a xenomorph,
which is the alien from Alien vs Predator?
Xenomorph, alien, Predator, or the Terminator? Well, Levi, what a great question, and we're so sorry for neglecting you all this time. I feel like the xenomorph